Chocolate, one of the world's most beloved indulgences. From luxury truffles to candy bars, it's a treat that transcends borders, languages, and generations. Whether you're in Paris, Tokyo, New York, or a small village anywhere in the world, chocolate speaks a universal language of comfort and joy. But have you ever wondered where chocolate really begins? What journey does it take before it melts in your mouth? What hands have touched it? What processes have transformed it? And what stories lie hidden within each square? Today, we'll travel deep into the tropical rainforests, where it all begins, with a small, humble fruit that hides the secret of chocolate inside. We'll walk alongside farmers who dedicate their lives to these trees, follow the beans across oceans, and witness the remarkable transformation that turns bitter seeds into the sweetness we crave. This is the story of how cocoa beans become chocolate, from seed to tree to factory, and finally to your table. It's a journey that spans continents, cultures, and centuries. The birth of cocoa. The cocoa bean is the heart and soul of chocolate. These beans come from the fruit of the cocoa tree, scientifically known as Theobroma cacao, which literally means food of the gods. It's a fitting name for something so treasured. This remarkable tree is native to Central and South America, where it has grown wild in the understory of tropical rainforests for thousands of years. Long before modern factories, long before chocolate became a global commodity, the ancient Mayans and Aztecs knew the magic of this plant. They would grind cocoa beans with spices, chilies, and cornmeal to make a bitter, frothy, sacred drink, used in marriage ceremonies, religious rituals, and royal celebrations. It wasn't sweet like the chocolate we know today, but it was powerful, symbolic, and divine. The Aztec emperor Montezuma was said to drink dozens of cups daily, believing it gave him strength and vitality. European conquistadors brought cocoa back to Europe in the 16th century, where sugar was added for the first time, transforming the bitter drink into something closer to what we recognize today. Over the centuries, chocolate evolved from an exclusive luxury of the wealthy to a treat enjoyed by people of all backgrounds. Today, cocoa trees are cultivated in the tropical rainforests of many countries, especially in West Africa, which produces nearly 70% of the world's cocoa, along with farms in South America, Southeast Asia, and the Caribbean. The Cocoa Belt, a narrow band around the equator, provides the perfect climate: warm, humid, and shaded. Some farms, like those in Costa Rica, Ecuador, and Peru, grow cocoa organically, without chemical fertilizers, pesticides, or fungicides. These sustainable farms work in harmony with nature, preserving biodiversity while producing premium beans. Organic cocoa farming demands patience and care. Farmers nurture each tree carefully, using traditional grafting techniques to create strong, disease-resistant varieties. It's not just farming, it's stewardship, passed down through generations. Grafting and growing. A farmer begins by selecting a budwood, a young branch from a healthy, productive cocoa tree known for its flavor, yield, and resistance to disease. She grafts it onto a sucker, a young shoot growing from the base of an older or weaker tree. This ancient technique ensures that the best traits are preserved and multiplied. With skillful precision, honed over years of practice, she cuts a clean slot in the sucker stem, inserts the budwood at just the right angle, and wraps it tightly with a plastic strip to hold in moisture and keep the union secure. Every movement matters. Too loose and it fails, too tight and it strangles the graft. A plastic bag covers the graft like a protective cocoon, shielding it from heavy rain, fungal spores, and dehydration. Inside this miniature greenhouse, the healing begins. If the graft succeeds, and with experienced hands most do, the two pieces merge in a matter of weeks, their tissues fusing together to create a single vigorous tree that combines the strength of the rootstock with the quality of the budwood. Once mature, after about 3 to 5 years, the tree is pruned strategically to keep it low, strong, and easy to harvest. Farmers shape the canopy, removing excess branches to allow light and air to circulate, while keeping the tree at a manageable height, usually no taller than 15 feet. Then something magical happens. Small white and pink flowers bloom directly from the trunk and older branches, a phenomenon called cauliflory. Unlike most trees, cocoa doesn't bloom at the tips of branches, but instead produces thousands of delicate flowers right from the woody bark. Tiny midges and beetles pollinate them, and over time, if pollination succeeds, which only happens in about 3 to 5% of flowers, the flowers transform into cocoa pods, the fruit of the tree. The harvest. As the pods grow over the course of 5 to 6 months, they slowly change color, green to yellow, orange, red, or even deep purple depending on the variety. Criollo, Forastero, and Trinitario are the three main types, each with distinct flavors ranging from fruity and floral to earthy and robust. It takes about 5 months from the first bloom to full pod maturity. The transformation is gradual but unmistakable. Experienced farmers can tell by sight, sound, and feel when a pod is ready. When harvest time arrives, typically twice a year in most regions, farmers carefully choose only the ripest pods. Unripe ones would produce beans that are too acidic, bitter, and lacking in the complex flavors that make great chocolate. Overripe pods risk fermentation starting inside, which ruins the beans. Each pod is thick and rough, about an inch deep, with a hard outer shell that protects the precious cargo inside. Farmers use machetes or specialized harvesting knives to cut them from the trunk, taking care not to damage the bark or the cushions where future flowers will emerge. They slice the pods open with swift, practiced strikes, revealing a sweet white pulp, mucilage, surrounding 30 to 50 large purple seeds, the cocoa beans. The pulp is sweet and tangy, sometimes eaten fresh or made into juice. But it's the beans inside that hold the promise of chocolate. Fermentation and drying. The freshly harvested beans and pulp are sent to fermentation boxes or laid in piles on banana leaves. Here, they rest under wooden covers or more banana leaves for 4 to 6 days. This is where the magic truly begins, a crucial step that many chocolate lovers never know about. Inside, natural heat builds up, sometimes reaching 120 degrees Fahrenheit or more. Fermentation begins, triggered by wild yeasts and bacteria in the environment. These microorganisms consume the sugary pulp, producing alcohol, acids, and heat. The beans undergo dramatic chemical changes. Enzymes break down cell walls, proteins transform into amino acids, and the foundation of chocolate flavor begins to develop. The sweet pulp breaks down, drains away as a cocoa honey, and oxygen helps trigger oxidation reactions that give the beans their first hint of chocolate aroma. The color changes from purple to brown. Without proper fermentation, cocoa beans would never develop the complex flavors we associate with chocolate. They'd remain bitter, astringent, and one-dimensional. Farmers turn the beans daily, ensuring even fermentation and preventing spoilage. It's a delicate balance. Too little fermentation and the flavor is underdeveloped, too much and off flavors emerge. After fermentation, the beans are spread out in the sun to dry for about a week, sometimes longer depending on weather. Workers rake them constantly to ensure even drying, protecting them from rain and bringing them inside at night. Compare a wet cocoa bean to a dried one and you'll see the transformation. The color deepens to a rich chocolate brown, the aroma intensifies and becomes more complex, and the moisture content drops from 60% to about 7%. Finally, the dried beans are sorted by hand. Skilled workers remove damaged, moldy, flat, or defective beans, any that would compromise the final chocolate. The best are packed in 60-kilogram jute sacks for export, ready to begin the next phase of their journey across oceans. It takes about 300 to 600 cocoa beans to make just 1 kilogram of chocolate. Think about that the next time you hold a chocolate bar. Hundreds of beans, countless hours of labor, and a journey of thousands of miles. The chocolate factory. Most of the world's cocoa beans travel from origin countries to chocolate factories across Europe, the United States, and beyond. Ships carry millions of pounds of beans across oceans, continuing a trade route established centuries ago. At the factory, the transformation accelerates. Conveyor belts carry the beans through a cleaning system. Sieves, air currents, and magnets remove twigs, stones, dirt, and any metal debris that may have gotten mixed in during transport. Next, a micronizer or roaster heats the beans to temperatures between 250–350 degrees Fahrenheit, loosening their papery shells and beginning to develop deeper flavors through the Maillard reaction, the same chemical process that browns bread and roasts coffee. Then they pass through a winnower, a machine that cracks the beans and uses air currents to separate the shell from the bean's core, called the nib. The nibs are where the real flavor lives. Rich, oily, and intensely aromatic, each nib contains over 50% cocoa butter, making it one of nature's most luxurious fats. From nibs to chocolate liquor. The nibs are roasted further or moved directly to grinding, depending on the chocolate maker's process. Then they're ground down using heavy stone rollers or modern steel mills. The heat and friction melt the cocoa butter within the cells, turning the solid nibs into a thick, flowing liquid paste called chocolate liquor or cocoa mass. Despite the name, there's no alcohol in it, just pure, unsweetened chocolate in liquid form. It's intensely bitter, deeply flavored, and the foundation of all chocolate products. Factories can extract some cocoa butter from this liquor using hydraulic presses, leaving behind cocoa powder, or add it back later, depending on the recipe and desired texture. The recipes of chocolate. Different types of chocolate are born from different recipes, each carefully formulated. Dark chocolate contains high percentages of chocolate liquor, sugar, and cocoa butter, but no milk. Premium dark chocolates may contain 70%, 80%, or even 90% cocoa with minimal sugar. Milk chocolate adds milk powder or condensed milk for a creamy, sweet texture that appeals to most palates worldwide. White chocolate contains no chocolate liquor at all, only cocoa butter, sugar, and milk, which is why purists debate whether it's truly chocolate. Unsweetened chocolate contains no sugar at all, pure chocolate liquor used primarily for baking. These ingredients are mixed in giant blenders until they reach the texture of a thick cake batter. The flavor is there, but the texture still needs refinement to achieve the smooth, velvety mouthfeel we expect from quality chocolate. Refining and conching. The chocolate passes through refining machines with steel rollers that grind the particles until they're smaller than 20 microns, finer than a grain of sugar, smaller than a single human taste bud can detect. Within minutes, the coarse paste becomes a fine, smooth powder. This is essential. Any grittiness would be immediately noticeable. Next comes conching, perhaps the most important and mysterious step, invented by Rodolphe Lindt in 1879. The chocolate is heated to precise temperatures, stirred continuously, and aerated for hours or even days in large tanks. This step develops flavor complexity and texture, evaporating unwanted volatile acids, rounding harsh notes, and transforming powder back into a velvety liquid. The longer the conching, the smoother and more refined the chocolate becomes. Premium chocolates may be conched for 72 hours or more. Here, the factory adds extra cocoa butter and sometimes lecithin, an emulsifier, to achieve just the right viscosity, whether for molding bars, enrobing candies, or producing chips. shaping the chocolate. For chocolate chips, machines called drop depositors release thousands of tiny drops onto cooling belts every minute, creating uniform morsels. For bars, large molds are filled with tempered chocolate and vibrated to remove air bubbles, then sent into cooling tunnels. As the chocolate moves through zones maintained between 30 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit, it slowly hardens, crystallizing in the stable form that gives chocolate its characteristic snap and shine. Each batch passes through metal detectors to ensure safety. Then the cooled bars pop out of their molds perfectly shaped, glossy, and ready. Tempering and the final touch. Before packaging, the chocolate undergoes tempering, a delicate heating and cooling process that manipulates cocoa butter crystals. Cocoa butter can crystallize in 6 different forms, but only one, form V, gives chocolate that perfect glossy finish, satisfying snap, and smooth melt. Master chocolatiers raise and lower temperatures in precise sequences, heating above the melting point, cooling to encourage crystal formation, then warming slightly to melt unstable crystals while preserving the desired ones. It's part science, part art. Finally, the chocolate is wrapped, boxed, and shipped to stores around the world, ready to bring joy to millions. From the tropical farms where it was born, tended by hands that have worked these trees for generations, to the factories where it was refined through centuries of perfected techniques, to the shelves where we find it, every bar of chocolate carries a story of patience, craftsmanship, and passion. So next time you unwrap a piece of chocolate, remember, it's not just candy. It's the result of nature, science, and artistry working together, the dedication of farmers, the precision of engineers, the creativity of chocolatiers, and the magic of a tree that the ancients called food of the gods. Bean by bean, bar by bar, chocolate connects us to the earth, to history, and to each other.